Hello, my name is Christopher Prine, and today I'm going to discuss with you about contemporary Japanese street fashion and subcultures. The presentation will focus on subgenres of street fashion of women, men, and the general street style. Because Japan is a major influencer of global fashion, especially the fashion capital, Tokyo, the fashion of Japan is very diverse. This presentation will only be able to focus on a few key fashion subgenres and high influential designers. I made this slide as a representation of the mix of high-end fashion designers and street-style subcultures that merged to form the style of Tokyo and other parts of Japan. I will start with a brief description of Japan geographically. According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, Japan is an Eastern Asian country made up of islands. Tokyo is the capital, which is the main focus of the street fashion of this presentation. The images included show different aspects of Japan. A map for geographical reference, the Kikaku Temple or Golden Pavilion, which shows a more traditional architecture, and the Sobu Line train, showing modern city structure. I will now begin to introduce the subcultures of Japanese fashion, starting with female genres. The bottom photo represents Takeshita Street. According to Stars Insider, this street is a big part of the Japanese street fashion, although over time the scene is dying down here, but a modern resurgence can now be seen. The top photo is the first subculture, Lolita. According to Stars Insider, Lolita is influenced from the Victorian and Edwardian eras. This is a childlike and colorful aesthetic. Lolita is most commonly what the outside world refers to as kawaii. There are many different forms of Lolita, but this is the main interpretation. According to Tokyo Fashion, Milk by Hitomi Okawa is a famous Lolita brand. According to the Victoria and Albert Museum, this fashion culture is from the late 90s and is influenced by the Hello Kitty cute aesthetic. It is not to be confused with cosplay or dressing as specific characters. This video shows Fairy Kai, which is another similar, more modern subculture that also embodies the cute kawaii world that Lolita lives in. The first image represents modern kimono street style. This style takes traditional Japanese kimono style and interprets it in a more modern day-to-day look. The next image is Kogel style, which according to Jira Tantinam, Mizutani, Sato, and Kajiwara, this style emerged in the late 1990s in which teenagers dressed in schoolgirl uniforms. This was considered a very fashionable trend. This genre celebrated youth and young culture and youth identity. The first image represents Kodono style or boy Lolita. According to Stars Insider, this still takes the Victorian and Edwardian influence, but in a slightly more masculine look, incorporating pants and separates. The second photo is an example of Lolita fashion in the streets of Japan. The first image represents Gothic Lolita, in which, according to Jiratantinam, Mizutani, Sato, and Kajiwara, is a darker side to the Lolita look. It still includes the lace, parasols, and frills, but in a darker or black tones. The next photo is of Decora style, which according to Stars Insider is recognized by extreme colors, heavy accessories, and a cartoonesque aesthetic. The last is Genguro style, which is a slightly questionable style in which the faces are darkened with heavy lightning around the eyes. This video gives an example of Gothic Lolita, in which the black fabric showcased its similarities and its differences from the prior Lolita. Now I will briefly show examples of street-style looks of Japanese fashion. The street style of Japan has a heavy influence on the world of fashion. The photos on this slide are included in a New York Times article in which people were photographed and asked to describe their personal style. This slide includes further examples of Tokyo's street-style fashions. According to Tokyo Fashion, these photos represent the modern group of Harajuku boys and their influence on Tokyo's fashion. These boys are more overall looks than distinct styles, although the noted styles of Japanese men's fashion will be discussed next. Harajuku is normally a term more commonly associated with female fashions. Although at times less distinct and less followed, men's fashion in Japan does include subcultures. The first photo is known as Kurame Kai, and according to Killup from Complex, this is a minimalistic traditional style. The next is Gyaru, which is a heavily tan look with a big colorful hair. This is a nightlife aesthetic and is commonly associated with the American New Jersey style. The last are Japanese Chicanos, which is inspired by a Cholo Mexican style. Continuing male fashion, the first is Urara Kai, which according to Killup is a style inspired by thrift shopping and casual looks. The next is Salon Boy, which is a slightly more feminine look, mixing street and high fashion and accessories. Mode is the most high fashion look, inspired by fashion editorials and heavy on labels. And Street Kai, which is a very on-trend look and can include hot brands such as Supreme. Concluding male fashion, Rockabilly, according to Killup, which is a denim, leather jacket, and greaser's American-inspired look. Visual Kai is the inspiration of 80s glam rock and punk. Leather and heavy makeup are included. Lastly, Ani Kai includes rock and military looks. The look includes deep open shirts and suit jackets, which anchor the style. I want to highlight some of the most influential modern designers because Japanese street fashion is often a mix of subgenres and high fashion. Included in this slide are Rei Kawaguko of Comme des Garçons, Yohji Yamamoto, Issey Miyake, and Kenzo Takada. According to Alicia Joy of The Culture Trip, Rei Kawaguko started Comme des Garçons in 1981 and is known for her shocking looks and challenging the standards of beauty. Comme des Garçons also has lines by Junya Wanatambi, a protege of Rei and a very innovative designer. Yohji Yamamoto's namesake line is a blend of traditional Japanese looks with modern cuts and silhouettes. Issey Miyake takes Japanese fashion to a more forward-looking and tech-heavy direction. Kenzo Takada uses color, patterns, and bold prints to catch the fashion industry's eye. I included this video because it highlights the emergence of the influential designers and how many of them brought dark, structured looks to a very colorful fashion world at the time. To conclude, Japan and Tokyo in particular are a major influence on the global fashion industry, as well as taken heavy influence from the world. Street style and strictly defined subcultures are just as important as high-end Japanese designers. It is the mix that makes Japanese fashion so special. High and low fashions interpreted with traditional and modern executions. This is the heart of Japanese fashion.